welcome back to ABC Interactive English. My name is Brandon.
I'm Kim.
And we've been talking about superstitions. We talked about the Guai Guai snack. We talked about lucky rabbit's foot. What's another one?
Four-leaf clover.
Oh, four-leaf clover, yeah.
That plant with 4 leaves. And there's another one, something with a ladder. Do you know this one?
Don't walk under a ladder.
Right, it's bad luck to walk under a ladder.
It is.
Now, how did that come about? Why a ladder?
I don't know, but it's probably because if you walk under a ladder, someone will drop something heavy on your head.
Ooh, that sounds, I wouldn't walk under a ladder. That just sounds dangerous, you know?
It doesn't sound very smart.
Well, we're about to find out exactly where did this superstition about Guai Guai come from. That's what we'll find out in part 2 of our article. So let's get to it.
All right.
There is one popular story about the history of this practice. It started with a graduate student in IT. They had a big report to write for school.
All right, so let's continue with our article. This one is called Guai Guai, Not Just a Snack. And this is part 2. There is one popular story about the history of this practice.
Oh, so now we're about to find out exactly why people put this snack on top of their computers and other electronic devices.
Exactly.
Now, something is popular, that just means a lot of people know about it and they really like it. So, for example, McDonald's is a really popular hamburger restaurant.
Ah, and here they like KFC. KFC is also popular. Or Yoshinoya.
Ah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Those are very popular things. But there's lots of things that can be popular. You can have popular children at school, or you can have popular toys or popular TV shows. It just means a lot of people like it and a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, even there's a certain type of music called pop music, which is just short for popular music. This kind of very happy, very energetic sort of pop music that people love. It can be really popular.
Yeah. And now we talked about history. What exactly is history?
So history is all the events that happened from sometime in the past, can be a really long time ago, all the way up to today. So everything that's happened before today is a part of history. And we have some very big historical events like the moon landing.
Oh yeah, that one was really big. America sent people on a rocket ship onto the moon, and that was historic. There's lots of different things in history. Some are important and some are not very important. But if you have a history class, you'll read about and learn about the really important ones.
Yeah, of course. In history class, we study all these really big, important events that affected the history of people and changed our lives to what it is today.
Yeah, it was history to make machines a long time ago. We didn't have machines. Somebody made a machine. That made history. And one of the biggest parts of new history, we made history by sending high-tech machines to Mars.
All right, so not only have we been to the moon, we've also been to Mars, the red planet.
And that was a huge historical event that just happened recently.
Yeah, and if we ever send people there, that will also be a huge event in history.
It will
A
be.
lot of these events are the first time something has ever happened in human history. Like sending someone to the moon was the first time we ever did that. That's why it's so important.
Yeah, I hope it becomes a practice of ours to send things to space.
Ah, and here's our next vocabulary word, practice. A practice is a tradition or a habit that people do. So here, this practice we're talking about is putting a bag of snacks on an electronic machine.
Or saying Guai Guai to your kids and pets. That's a practice. But what's another practice? There's a very common practice here in Taiwan, and that is during the Moon Festival.
Yeah, Moon Festival has a lot of traditional practices that are done, like making moon cakes for one.
Yum, yum.
They're really good. What else do people do during Moon Festival as a practice?
Oh, I actually don't really know very much about the Moon Festival. I heard that you can't point to the moon?
No, don't point at the moon, but you can barbecue.
Oh yeah, people love to eat barbecue during the Moon Festival. And that's here in Taiwan, but what about in America?
Well, in America, we have 4th of July, which celebrates America's independence. We like to light off fireworks. That's a very common practice during that time.
Great. Well, this practice, it started with a graduate student in IT. They had a big report to write for school.
Ooh, that's a bad time to have your computer break down.
Yeah, if you're a graduate student, you really need to use your computer because you're at a higher level of school. This isn't just the lower grades. This is after college. After the first 4 years of college, and you go back to become a graduate student.
That's right. Graduate students are usually studying for their master's degree, which is an extra 2 years of school, or their doctorate, which is even more, can be up to 8 extra years of school if you're studying to be a doctor or a lawyer.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of school.
Well, we're going to learn some more about this after the break.
We'll see you then.
They worked on it on their computer, but the computer broke down a lot. So they put a bag of Guai Guai on it. After that, the computer worked with no problems. The story spread from one person to another. Soon, people started to put the snack on their own computers. How guai of them!
Welcome back from the break. We've been talking about popular practices in history and around the world.
That's right, and we're about to find out exactly what practice this student did with this bag of Guai Guai. So as we read, they worked on it on their computer, but the computer broke down a lot. Now this student has to write a report. It's probably the end of the year, so this is a really important time for them to be writing something, and their computer, it just doesn't work.
I know how that feels. I was working on some projects and doing my work, and my computer broke, and it was very bad for my life. I had to get it fixed very fast so I could work on more projects. So we talked about work on. When you work on something, you make it go further and further. You help to finish it. You work on it to finish it. Do you ever work on anything?
No, but you can also work on a car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so in some cases, not only finishing things or trying to make progress on them, but you can also use it for fixing things. So when you take your computer to the repair shop, they will work on it to try to figure out what's wrong and to ultimately fix it. But here, he's working on it because he's trying to make progress, trying to write just one more page, just one more paragraph. We know how that is, you know, being students before.
Yep.
Working on papers is not that fun.
No, I've had to work on a lot of projects in my life, and it takes a lot of time to work on things, to fix them or to progress them or to finish them.
Now, luckily, this student has a computer to help him. And as we've said back in part 1, computers are these high-tech machines that we use to save files, to play games, to compute things, to do calculations, to save, write in Word, things like that. Of course, I'm sure by this point everyone knows what computers are. They're in every house. They're very common these days.
Yeah, but did you know a lot of other high-tech machines have computers in them?
Oh, really?
Like a cell phone has a small computer in it, or some of those cars we talked about before, the Tesla cars, have a computer in them. Lots and lots of things have computers inside. Oh, And like the high-tech machine robot that went to Mars, it has a computer in it.
Of course, we use computers for a lot of things these days, so they're very common. So what does this student do? He's working on his paper. The computer breaks down repeatedly. He's getting really frustrated. You just want to push the computer, you know?
Well, he must have had one of those snacks of Guai Guai. So they put a bag of Guai Guai on the computer. After that, the computer worked with no problems.
There you go. That's all he had to do. You don't need to punch your computer. You don't need to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Just bag of Guai Guai, done.
That's amazing. I wish I knew how to do that a long time ago. So you just put the bag on the machine and it works with no problems.
There you go.
That's amazing.
So the story spread from one person to another. He tells his friend, who tells his friend, who tells his friend. Soon, people started to put the snack on their own computers. How guai of them.
Now, you talked about spread, one person saying something to another person, and then that person saying it to another, and that person saying it to another. But that's not the only thing that can spread, you know.
Really?
Yeah, you've probably heard about the COVID-19. That can also spread from person to person. Spread just means that it goes out further from where it started. So what else can you spread?
Well, it's interesting you bring up things like COVID, because when things spread among people, especially on the internet, that's called viral. Like a virus, like the COVID. So things are spreading out to different people. More and more people hear about it from their friends or from a message board or something on the internet. And then a lot of people see it and a lot of people know about it. And things can spread really quickly on the internet these days.
Well, you know my favorite thing to spread?
What?
That would be butter on bread.
Oh, I thought you were going to say chocolate on cake.
That
Since you
too.
love chocolate.
Oh, good point. I changed my answer. It's chocolate.
It's definitely chocolate. Or cupcakes or regular cake?
All of it?
All of it, okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and remember to put your Guai Guai on top of your computers, smartphones, or anything else that you need to work.
Yeah, don't be like me.
Don't be like him.
Wow.
There is one popular story about the history of this practice. It started with a graduate student in IT. They had a big report to write for school. They worked on it on their computer, but the computer broke down a lot. So they put a bag of Guai Guai on it. After that, the computer worked with no problems. The story spread from one person to another. Soon, people started to put the snack on their own computers. How guai of them.
大家好，我是 Stephanie。今天我们有3个文法重点。第一个是 A starts with B，A 始于 B。动词 start 表示开始，比如说 Starbucks started with a small coffee stand in Seattle。星巴克从西雅图的一个小咖啡店开始。第二个 work on something， 致力于某件事情。当你想要精进你的技能而下功夫的时候，可以使用这个片语。例如 His jokes are good, but he needs to work on his delivery。他的笑话很不错，但是他需要精进他呈现的方式。那第二段最后一句话是 work with no problems， 则表示运作起来没有问题，畅行无阻。第三个 how 加形容词，多么点点点的意思，它们用来表示惊讶感叹。比如说疫情之前，大家都可以在国与国之间来去自如，想起过去的美好，就会有人说 How nice it was that we used to travel wherever we wanted。我们曾经可以去任何地方旅行，是多么棒的一件事呀！我们今天一样有4个单字要学习。第一个 popular 形容词，广为流传的。Korean dramas are popular among women。韩剧很受女性的欢迎。 第二个 history 名词，由来历史。Successful people get their business strategies from history. 成功人士从历史中得到经营策略。第三个 practice 名词，习俗习惯。It is common practice in America to tip the server. 在美国通常要给服务生小费。第四个 computer 名词，电脑。The sales of computers grow as many people start to work from home. 随着许多人开始居家办公，电脑的销售量不断增加。
Hi everyone, I'm today's host, Stephen Rong. Need something fun to do on the weekend? Then you should visit the first inner city sand beach of Taipei. Taipei City Government Sand Pool is right in front of Songzhi Gate and is open 24 hours a day. Created in 2008, the mayor decided to build a man-made sand beach for city kids to enjoy sand play. Look, the sand is so soft. Let's build a sandcastle. I got sand all over my favorite shirt. Phew, the good news is the sand won't stick and it's pure and clean. Before you leave, there's also a washing area to clean yourself up. Because of its family-friendly vibe, the sand pool is always packed with children on weekends. How about their parents? Parents can buy a cup of coffee in the City Hall's cafeteria and wait for their children at the sitting area. The Taipei City Government Sand Pool is great fun for everyone. It really is a relaxing spot and is open all the time. My name is Stephen Rong, and I'll see you guys next time.
See you next time!